So, welcome to the lesson on sex, gender and androgyny. Again, this is within our gender topic. Okay, so first of all, going to introduce two keywords, so sex and gender. Sex, you can see the definition on the left-hand side. So sex means the biological characteristics of a person. Now, your sex would be you're either male or female. Gender is slightly different, so this is the psychological or social characteristics, and this would mean you are masculine or feminine. Now, what we would anticipate stereotypically is that males are masculine and females are feminine, but of course we know that you can have a masculine female and a feminine male. So sex role stereotypes. Stereotypical views might include that boys would grow up to be builders, they would be strong, they would be dominant. Something that would go against a sex role stereotype might be that boys cry, boys get upset easily, boys are very emotional. Sex role stereotype for women. So women are feminine, they use lots of makeup, they are pretty, they paint their nails, they like the colour pink. And in terms of something that's unstereotypical, girls like to play outside, they like to play in the mud. So how do we as psychologists study masculine traits and feminine traits? So we use the BEM sex role inventory, which is also known as the BSRI. The BSRI is a measure of masculinity to femininity and gender roles, and it assesses how people identify themselves psychologically. So do they identify themselves as masculine, do they identify themselves as feminine, or do they identify themselves as androgynous, which means that they show high levels of masculinity but also high levels of femininity as well. So Sandra Bem's goal of the BSRI was to examine psychological androgyny and provide empirical evidence to show the advantage of a shared masculine and feminine personality versus a sex-typed categorisation. And what I mean by that, the shared masculine and feminine personality would be the androgynous person. The sex-type categorisation would refer to the either masculine or feminine person. So the test is formatted with 60 different personality traits, which participants rate themselves based on a 7-point Likert scale. 7-point Likert scale means there's 7 points on the scale, of course, the midpoint being the 4th point, which is neither nor, and you've got kind of 3 points on either side, depending on how strongly or not strongly they agree with that particular statement. Traits are evenly dispersed, so 20 masculine, 20 feminine and 20 filler traits that are thought to be gender neutral. So you've got the figure on the right hand side there. If a person shows low masculine traits and low feminine traits, they are known as undifferentiated. Of course, if they show high feminine traits and very low masculine traits, then they would be feminine. If they show high masculine traits and low feminine traits, they will be masculine. And finally, if they show high feminine traits and high masculine traits as well, they are androgynous. So that's what Bem said was this shared masculine and feminine personality. So androgyny. Androgyny is the combination of masculine and feminine characteristics. So they show high levels of masculine traits and high levels of feminine traits. Now, gender ambiguity may be found in fashion. So I've given you the picture there on the right-hand side, and it's Scarlett Johansson dressed up. You can see that she's got masculine traits, so possibly the hairdo, possibly the suit that she's wearing, but also feminine traits. So maybe the plucked eyebrow and the kind of smooth face, and not a square jaw. Now, we're not too bothered about gender ambiguity in fashion. What we're more concerned about is in psychology, we focus on behavioural characteristics. So, behavioural characteristics. Feminine behavioural characteristics might be things like being caring or nurturing, paying attention to detail. Male traits might be things like leadership skills, discipline, dominance. Androgyny, just on a side note, it is seen as a positive and it frees you in terms of your cognitive style. So if you're showing both feminine and masculine traits, you are more free cognitively, you're not constrained. It's often not seen before the age of 9. Age 11 onwards is when we start to see more androgynous behaviour. So before the lesson, I would like you to make sure that you're prepared by making sure you can complete the following activities without looking at the video or your pre-reading. So first of all, can you explain the difference between sex and gender? Second of all, can you describe the use of the BSRI? And third of all, can you describe some androgynous features, i.e. masculine features and feminine features?